Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, and today we have a card from the Notes from the Universe on Abundance deck by Mike Dooley. And those of you who get his daily little wisdoms from the universe know what kind of a cheeky guy he is. So we're going to have ourselves a cheeky little card today. Good morning, Peggy. Glad you are here. Welcome, welcome. And we'll see how long it takes for some of the others of you to come rolling in. Good morning to whomever else just popped on. I got to get some stuff out of my way here. I'm so short that when I sit in my chair and have the right height for the desk, my feet don't hit the ground. So I have this pad underneath me that I put my feet on, and it got cattywampus. So now we're good. Now we're good. Good morning, Caroline. Good morning. Good morning. Glad you guys are here. Welcome, welcome. I'm thinking someone snuck past me, but we'll see if I get a wave or something. So dry this morning. And everyone and their dog was out this morning, which is not a great TJ experience. Good morning, Mel. Glad you are here. Good morning, Gwen. Welcome. So we skirted around the other dogs as best we could, and he did pretty well. We're gaining some ground here. Not for a moment do I think, good morning, Cindy, do I think that he's ready for prime time in terms of other dogs, but I see that we are making headway, and that is a good thing. So let's do a little breathing this morning and a little tapping. So just tapping on your chest, breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Just letting yourself sink into your seat, being aware of your butt in the chair or your back on the bed, whatever. Good morning, CJ. Welcome. Welcome, welcome from the UP. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. And then you're just going to shake your hands off. There we go. Settled in, ready to soak up this fun message for today. Notes from the Universe on Abundance by Mike Dooley. And we have a beautiful waterfall to start out with, and a mountain in the background. And I did a guided imagery the other day that was about climbing a mountain, and it was absolutely wonderful. I think it was one of the Insight Timer ones, if I'm not mistaken. So there's our card. And just imagine your heart chakra spinning open, ready to receive this message, your mind calming as you breathe, a sense of receptivity, openness, willingness to try on something new, to learn some new ways to look at things, etc. So this one actually is kind of about that. And again, they're short, but I'll read it a couple of times. Have you ever wondered if, when you just close your eyes, take a few minutes and redirect your thinking, good morning, Judy, the monsters might shrink, the grins might grow, and the floodgates might begin trembling again? Try it, except when driving the universe. So, about changing our perspective, about looking at things differently. One of the things that I think has always been so powerful about doing psychotherapy with people, now doing coaching with people, is when I elicit a response to a question that when the person says it out loud, they can hear the error in their thinking. They can see, they can hear how, yeah, when I say it out loud, it sounds stupid. I felt it. It held me up for a long time. But when I say it out loud, when I share it with you, I can feel that, yeah, this is not something that needs to be dogging me anymore, needs to be having this kind of profound impact, negative impact on my life, etc. And then we can do the energy work to release that. So what about for you? I want you to think about that right now. What is something that dogs you, that is the monster that looms over everything? Fear of, fill in the blank. What is it? And I want you to see that monster. Close your eyes, if you're driving, but if you're able to, close your eyes. And I want you to see that monster, that fear monster that you have manufactured. I want you to know this is of your own creation. Even if it's something you soaked up from someone else. Let's say your mom was deathly afraid of snakes, so you kind of soaked up that energy and it became yours. You still, on some level, took it on. okay? Yes, albeit you were probably a child, but now you're not anymore, and you can get rid of this if you want. So let's pick one. One for me is looking stupid. I hate looking stupid. So let's pick one. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to see that monster, that fear monster, the fear of whatever it is. And I want you to breathe. Keep the breath moving, because one of the things that increases the size of that monster is shallow breathing. That feeds the fear. So nice deep belly breaths in the face of this monster that you have created. Okay? Yes, hate looking stupid. But we're going to release that. We're going to get to the point where if we do something that we think others perceive as looking stupid, whatever, move on, next, does not matter. So breathing into it. And now I want you to speak it out loud. So Cindy put hers in the feed also. You could put it in the feed. What is it that you're afraid of? I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of succeeding. I'm afraid of people getting mad. I'm afraid of, whatever it is, pick one. Because you can do this process over and over and over again. Pick one. Say it out loud. Let the intuitive part of your ear hear it. What about that? When the intuitive part of your ear hears you say, I am afraid of X, what is that intuitive part connected to the wise self, connected to universal wisdom, connected to God's Spirit Creator? What does that part of you have to share with you about that fear? Just listen. Yep, I totally get that, Cindy. I have all these fears. And sometimes as you're working with the fears, they will begin to collapse into one. So it might be, I fear saying something stupid, I fear looking stupid, I fear trying new things because I won't know how to do them. But there's a root underneath all of that, which is, I'm not good enough. Okay? So pick one, pick anyone, and you may see, again, that they kind of collapse in on themselves. So now I want you to breathe into that monster. See how big and hairy and awful and gucky and whatever else it is. And now I want you to breathe. Activating the breath. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to change anything. You're just breathing. So standing there in the face of that. Okay, Gwen's is afraid to read in front of other people. Gotcha. So just imagine that. Imagine that monster, however it looks. It might be a gigantic book preparing to slam on you. Whatever it is. It might be a finger wagging. Whatever it is. Breathe. 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 All right? And again, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to change anything. You're merely standing at a distance. You're looking at this monster fear, and you're breathing. What can you observe about that fear? How old does it seem? How smart does it seem? Oftentimes when we begin to ask these questions, that fear, even though it looks monstrous, has a very young heart and soul. Because it's coming out of wounds from childhood, right? So it is young in a lot of ways. It's long-standing, but it's young in lots of ways. And what does it have for tools? Not a hell of a lot. Intimidation. That's its main tool, right? Fear-provoking, fear-mongering, intimidation, right? And yesterday I was talking about the psychic in England, Amanda Ellis. She's somewhere in the UK, I'm not sure where. Just being done with that. She's done with the fear-mongering. And so she did a whole reading on what she saw as the government's attempt to fearmonger. Basically, I'm done with this. I'm going to call it out. I'm going to put it into the light so everyone can see what it really is and see what happens. So right now I want you to shine your beacon of light, that love light that you have within, shine that on that fear. Notice what happens. Afraid of saying the wrong thing at the wrong time? Yep. So just breathe into that. Breathe into that monster, shining your love light on that monster. Can you begin to see how young this monster is? Good morning, Rebecca. We're working with fear today. So can you see how young this monster is? Good morning, Lucy. Welcome, welcome. Breathe into it. Breathe into it. So I'm going to read the card again, but you just keep breathing and paying attention to what's happening with that monster of fear. Have you wondered if, when you just close your eyes, take a few minutes and redirect your thinking, the monsters begin to shrink, the grins begin to grow, and the floodgates might begin trembling again? Try it, except when driving the universe. So now I want you to put a grin on your face. You're sitting there with your eyes closed, you're contemplating this monster. It's appearing younger and younger, less and less skilled. It had no skills to deal with whatever provoked the fear when you were young. Now, I want you to hand some skills over. Here, let me help you with this fear. Hand some skills over to this fear monster who's becoming more and more young, more and more frightened in and of itself. What tools do you have that you can share with this part of you that's afraid? How about breath? Let's invite our monsters of fear to breathe with us. Okay, monsters, time to breathe. Notice the shoulders rising and falling as that monster breathes. Notice again how small and incapable and fearful this monster really is. It put up a whole lot of good bluster, but it's merely a scared part of yourself. Breathing into it. Breathing into it. Now I want you to walk over and align beside the monster. It's you and this fear monster against the world, as it were. But what we're going to put out in front of both of you now is the situation that provoked this fear monster in the first place. So maybe it was having to recite in class and you stumbled on something and somebody laughed. Maybe it was you avoided like crazy ever having to do what it is you're afraid of in public. And in the eluding that, it became bigger and bigger and bigger. So you and the monster are standing beside each other, your fear monster, your young, frightened fear monster, standing and looking at this thing, okay? And now I'd like you, it's almost like it's a freeze frame. It's 3D, but it's a freeze frame. I want you and the monster, take the monster's hand, and I want the two of you to walk around that circumstance. So look at it from the front. Share with the monster what you notice. Ask the monster what the monster noticed. Walk around the side of it. What's different from that perspective? Again, sharing between the two of you what you notice. Walk around to the back of it and observe again. And you might be observing with your eyes, with your ears, with your smell, whatever. If you want to touch some aspects of it, feel free. But you're behind it right now, observing it. And share between the two of you what you notice. Now walk around to the other side of it. What's the perspective like from that side? Now I want you to go underneath it. Almost like you're there's a glass ceiling above you holding that scene. You're underneath it and you're looking up at it. What do you observe from that perspective? Share that between the two of you. Notice how it looks different from all these perspectives. So far, early on, you only considered it from one perspective. Now you're looking at it from a bunch of different perspectives. Now I want you to rise above it. You and the monster, holding hands, over the top of it, looking down. What do you notice? What do you notice from that perspective? Share with each other. What can change now as you're over the top of it and you're looking down? Almost like it's a chess game. What can change? What would you like to move around in that scene? Are there elements you want to bring into that scene? Perhaps you put yourself in a protective bubble. And now you're facing whatever it is. Perhaps you remove people from the scene. You're powerful now. You're an adult now. You can do that. You're out of here. What else would you like to adjust? Do you want to slow that scene down? Maybe you put some animation in there. Do you want to slow it way down? Do you want to jump ahead to after it's over? Perception is different from above, absolutely. And it affords you the opportunity to make some changes here. This is your memory. This is your provoking event for this fear monster. So we're going to take the provocation out of it. Again, I'll just pick one. Let's say you were reciting your table of squares in front of your 6th grade classroom. That was me. And you screwed it up. That was me. And someone laughed. And in 6th grade, you're a 12-year-old girl. Of course you're humiliated, right? Had that shit memorized. Couldn't pull it when I needed it. Whatever. Probably could even still do them now. But maybe now I, looking on that scene, can see that the kid who laughed was the kid who had to go next and was probably also scared shitless that he was going to screw it up. So putting perspective around, perspective I couldn't have mustered at that point, but I can muster now. I can see what was going on there. And so I'm going to let go of all that shame that I felt in that stupid situation. Why we make kids be the bug under the microscope anyway, I don't know, but whatever. So letting that go. So let's breathe. Breathing that out. Oh, for me, what's happening is I want the little trapdoors in the bottom of my feet to open and this shame energy draining out into Mother Earth. And we know that energy is neither created nor destroyed. We just simply move into, through, and out of form. So this form of shame is flushing out through my feet. Mother Earth will turn it into something useful. She'll compost it. It'll be fine. It'll be good. And now notice what happens beside you. Perhaps that monster isn't a monster anymore. Perhaps that monster is that little kid who went through whatever it was. Good morning, Linda. Welcome, welcome. And I'd like you to invite that little kid within you. It's a part of you, that part of you that's been alienated, pushed away, shoved off, so that you weren't feeling whole. There's a whole field of work with regard to this called soul retrieval. And so we're just bringing this part of ourselves that we shoved away for being unacceptable back into the fold. Notice how that feels. It's interesting because mine doesn't necessarily feel 12. She was 12 at the point where that circumstance happened. But I think it was a younger self that may have been present, maybe 5, 7, somewhere in that ballpark, that then felt the shame in that 12-year-old experience. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad. Yes, bringing this in. And again, you can watch this video over and over and over again. Use it with any of the fears that you have. We no longer need to hold onto fear. Living a life in fear means we are naturally limited. We don't want that. We don't want that. So we're letting go of all these fears. Have you ever wondered if, when you just close your eyes, take a few minutes like we just did, hi, you're a little girl and you have the same haircut. Ain't that interesting? Ain't that interesting? Yep. Close your eyes, take a few minutes, redirect your thinking. And we did that by moving around this scene and looking at it from all different directions, especially above. Above is a very useful perspective. The monsters might shrink, the grins might grow, and the floodgates might begin trembling again. Try it, except when driving the universe. So hopefully that was helpful, and hopefully that gets your Monday off to a good start. And again, you can use this repeatedly to flush out the stuff that has been getting in your way but is no longer going to. All right? Have an awesome day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.